Peter, it's good to speak to you again. The last time most people would have seen you was in September at the Tree Arena. You suffered a horrific eye injury, which stopped the fight very early. How was the recovery from that?
Yeah, it's been good, thank God. It was actually it was not good for a while afterwards. I was a bit worried. I was going around wearing sunglasses indoors and looking like an asshole going around the place, but it was quite sensitive for a while. But thank God it is feeling pretty good now. So I was just saying to you off air, I thought I had lost my eye at the time.
Mm.
So I'm just thankful now I can whatever. It's good. It's pretty good.
Was the vision impaired for long, or
It was, yeah, it was very bad for about a week, I would say. Like so much so that I couldn't even open my eye. Well, I could, but it was just very
mm,
sore. It was like I had it was like there was a tiny little micro fragment of glass in my eye. That's how it felt. If you can imagine that.
yeah.
So every time you blinked, it was like pain.
Mm.
But then it did get like radically better after a week, and I would say then it was like just something not right about it. Then for another month, and then it was kind of fine. That was kind of the recovery process with it.
Yeah, it must be a kind of a tough one as well because I spoke to you a couple of times last year, and you'd worked through a lot of like, physical injuries, your shoulder, your leg, and stuff like that, and then you get something like that, which I presume the rest of your body feels fine, and fight ends so quickly after a hard camp, and you obviously just can't train for a certain amount of time, but you feel physically very fit.
Yeah, like you maybe you picked up on it at the time at the event, but I was enjoying myself that night. I looked a bit different, I think, walking down the ramp. I looked a bit different in the ring. I was smiling. I was enjoying the process because I had actually trained for this one. I
Mm.
was actually feeling good. My body was pretty good in terms of injuries. I've had awful injuries for the second Patricky fight and Ben. I was very bad at my shoulder, and this one I actually had a really good camp. It was up a weight class as well, which helped. And I was really enjoying it, and I was just really looking forward to the actual fight. And then this happens. It was just soul destroying, but whatever. It is what it is. It's one of those things. There's no point crying about it.
Yeah. Since then, it's been a kind of interesting time for Bellator. There was plenty of rumours around that Dublin show of how long Bellator was going to last, the PFL rumours. Since then, obviously, a lot's happened. PFL have taken over, but Bellator still remains. Obviously, they got a show this weekend in Belfast, and they've brought in this Champion Series. Just your thoughts on that? You've been around Bellator a long time. You've been kind of one of the leading kind of men in the European scene in particular. Did you think it was time for kind of refresh or kind of restart? Or what's your general thoughts on it?
Um, I I thought Bellator was going in the right direction. I thought their roster was incredibly strong, as strong as it had ever been. I thought everything was going the right direction. I'm just really glad Bellator is still around and that it didn't get completely. It's great the PFL came in and partnered with them, and it's good for Bellator. But I'm glad it still has its own identity because I think it deserved that because. Like, as I said, the roster was incredibly strong. There was a lot of really good things being done with Bellator. But hopefully the things that maybe they weren't doing as good as they could, PFL can help them with now and really kicking on to the next level and get that synergy going that people are excited about, and it'll be a next level for both brands.
What did you think of the kind of PFL versus Bellator champions thing? Was you think that was something that kind of had to be done? Obviously, because Bellator have belts and they're just taking off them, it's probably not fair. What were your thoughts on that kind of series and how it's gone?
I thought it was a great idea. Like people love seeing this, having champions of one show fight the other. I thought it was an amazing idea, and it went how I thought it would went. As I said, I thought Bellator's roster was exceptionally strong. I think them kind of winning most of the fights. I thought that would happen, but it's great that like I said, to see that because let's be honest, people want to see this. They want to see the fights they can't see that they think they're
Mm.
not going to see. That's when you get excited about a fight, when you kind of get blindsided by, wow, I didn't think I'd ever see that one. And then you get to see it. I think that's what it was on a large scale, where you saw all these fights that perhaps you thought you might never see, and then you get to see them. And it's brave from the champions on both sides as well to actually put their money where their mouth is and get in and fight someone else for that, and put their reputation on the line. So credit to all those PFL guys, credit to the Bellator champs, for taking that risk, and it's great.
Yeah, like you mentioned the strength of the Bellator roster there, and even in particular the last 18 months before the last Dublin show. But when the Bellator Dublin thing really kicked off, initially it was a lot of Irish talent. You were headlining a lot of shows, but then the international thing started to happen. Like, and then it ended with Amasov here, and obviously you fought Benson Henderson. Pitbull was here a couple of times. So that just shows like how much they value Dublin, I suppose. I know they're in Belfast this weekend, but Dublin had really come almost their home, hadn't it? Dublin, I know they had big cards in London and Paris, but Dublin had really come big time, hadn't it, in Europe?
For the Bellator era, Dublin was their capital, I would say. I think that was what you associated with Bellator, especially in Europe, was Dublin. And even worldwide, I think Dublin was perhaps their biggest show in my mind. That if you look at any of the kind of viral crowd moments or the big moments they had, a lot of them were Dublin. So I think PFL will hopefully be able to capitalize on that as well and make that one of their big homes too. I know their last show went very well. They're obviously involved with Bellator here now for the Bellator show in June. So, I think it can, as I said, I think the two brands working together, you got to expect it's going to kick them on. I think we can expect something really good now for June.
Do you think it's good as well that they've put a show on in Belfast? Obviously, could have spread the kind of around the island. Like, obviously, amazing to see Carl fighting in his hometown. I know he's very popular in Dublin, but it's obviously special for him to go home. So that's good as well, isn't it? Spreading it around.
It's great. And like I said, yeah, and it's smart as well because, yeah, Carl is popular here, but he's much more popular up there. So it's better to use him in somewhere like that where you can get the real benefit of his name, and he can perhaps, if he headlined in Dublin, it will be okay. That's good, but there's other guys perhaps that would be better suited for that role. But in Belfast, he's perfect for that. And you can really fill out an arena based on his name alone. But they've obviously got a very good card behind him as well tonight. But just his name alone, it's going to do very well based on his popularity in Belfast and up the north of Ireland. So it's smart by them to do that, and it's great for Carl as well.
Yeah, just on yourself, like you've got nothing confirmed this year yet, but are you looking to get back to the cage pretty soon? Are you in good shape? You just looking for a fight at the moment? Is that it?
Yeah, I've been taking a bit of a break, to be honest, Nathan. I've just been taking a break. The eye made me take a break. Yeah. And then I kind of I said I'm going to maybe take more time to let my body settle down, and it kind of has settled down, and I'm enjoying the break. But yeah, perhaps in the summer you'll see me again. So we'll see. I must talk to Mike in detail about the show in June and get things nailed down. But hopefully we'll see me back in the summer.
Just to kind of away from Bellator and your own fighting, it's kind of noticeable, particularly I've noticed probably last year or so on your own social media, a lot more stuff about, say, the young lads that you train with, Conor McCarthy in particular. You've kind of really stepped into kind of a mentorship role, haven't you? Like, I've been in SBG, been lucky enough kind of in the lead up to some of those Dublin shows and seeing you even outside the cage, almost in a corner in some of those spars, and they're kind of iconic with these young lads. Are you enjoying that kind of, because you've been around for a while? So, like, are you enjoying that kind of helping the younger lads role?
I am. I've since my last fight, I've been, like I said, I've been taking a bit of a break, but I've been focusing a lot more on my own gym, SBG Naas. And as you said, Conor McCarthy is one of the kind of big names. He's had his pro debut now, but he was an amateur guy. A lot of people were talking about, and I've got a kind of a conveyor belt of guys behind him coming through. Thank God, and it's going really well. So I'm really enjoying that. I'm enjoying the coaching, so that's keeping me occupied as well. But yeah, no, I love it. I've always kind of enjoyed coaching, and even when I wasn't coaching as such in my own gym, I'm obviously a bit older, a bit more experienced than a lot of John's fighters in SBG Ireland, SBG HQ. So often guys would come to me for advice and try and pick my brain a bit on things. And that was always something I really enjoyed and cherished and took seriously, and, felt I had a bit of responsibility to do that as well, because I did the same when I was coming up. I had Connor, I had Artem, I had Cathal Pendred, I had Chris Fields, I had all these guys that were much more experienced than me. And you can't replace that, a guy that's done it 20 more times than you have, because he's seen it all and he knows it all, and he can really fast track you and hopefully help you avoid pitfalls that he made. So that's the idea, and that's what I try and do for the lads in John's and my own lads in Naas.
Very good. You got SBG Naas. Will there be an SBG Waterford at some stage?
I'm too I would love to, but I'm too bloody busy with everything. I've a lot going on. So
maybe in a few years, when the fight's finished
Maybe,
yourself.
yeah, maybe. I would love to. I always thought I would. And then
Yeah.
I opened Naas, and I've a few other things going on as well. So it's just, I
Yeah.
wish there was more hours in the day. Basically,
Yeah.
I would if you could find 6 more hours in the day for me, I would.